Spectatin and Speculatin. I think we're up to number 23, and I want to talk about 1Corinthians 13 today, where you can look at the definition of love, what love is, and this is reiterated with a little bit different wording in Corinthians. And most folks know the part about love is kind, patient, it's not boastful, and so forth. But if you keep reading, especially there in 1Corinthians 13, you're going to read this, that love does not hang on to wrongs. Doesn't hang on to wrongs. And that got me thinking. That really got me thinking. Car going by. Because a lot of people that I know, family members, and people I meet who might be friends, I know a lot of people that hang on to wrongs. I was just talking to my daughter about something that kind of occurred to me. I don't know if this is true. You could certainly comment if you think it's true or not. That a malignant narcissist, I believe, never discards potential weapon. They are armed to the teeth with anything that they can whip out to either defend themselves or to beat someone down just for the hell of it. And I was telling her, I don't believe that a narcissist, particularly a real malignant narcissist way over there on the spectrum, would ever delete a text from someone else, because they would want to have that if it ever became useful, turn something you had said against you. And in particular, I'm thinking about an individual who has good reason to communicate with me. And that's because our parents are very elderly. And this individual has created a final solution for my parents that involves them living in a home attached to her home, separated by the kitchen door. And I believed this myself when the plan was revealed to me. I wasn't involved in the creation of the plan. It was shared with me once it had been completed. This is the way it's going to be. Here's the plan. And there are people that will offer you a plan, and you either accept plan or you aren't going to be part of that plan. And when we're talking about parents, you usually want to be part of the plan, but I wasn't included, so I adapted to the new reality. It's my nature to try to work within systems and hopefully make them better once I get a little familiar with them on the inside. And I don't know, 10, 11 years ago, I think it was. No, it's probably more like 8 or 9. My eyesight took another plummet, and I had to get new readers because I couldn't see small text anymore. I had to get some new readers. And I communicated to my sibling that texting isn't really working for me, that the buttons are too small, it's quite hard to see. And plus, I'm not in the habit of walking around with, well, now I am, but at the time, I wasn't in the habit of carrying my phone around with me that much, for fear of losing it. I'm always walking off without something that I had a little while ago. I'm always going back to get hats and stuff from people's houses, and I figured the same thing would happen with my phone. So I asked that, can we do phone calls? It's so much easier to just talk, and I explained that in addition to just the vision aspect of it, actually talking to a person, best case scenario is you're talking to a person and they're there with you. They can see your face, they can hear the expression and tone of your voice, they can hear what you're feeling and see in your expression what you're feeling, good or bad, and much more content is communicated when we use the voice, the eyes, in addition to the vocabulary that we choose to use. And for all of those reasons, I was hoping that for things that matter, we could talk on the phone. And I was told that there's no time for that too busy working on the phone all day, and this isn't going to happen. Since that day, at least 8 years ago, she and I have only had one phone call, only one, with voice, and I actually had to arrange it a week or two in advance, put it on the calendar, and to arrange it by text. And we had a long phone call about my parents' care and how it felt like a sort of a competition, as though one of us needed to win and get their way. And I wasn't angry or anything, but I said, it seems to me that if you or I wins, Mom and Dad are going to lose. If either one of us wins, the other one's going to be upset, and then Mom and Dad lose. As I said, that was the last phone call we ever had. My wishes were not accepted. Well, it didn't surprise me, but I certainly tried. And ever since then, all I've ever gotten were texts. I get texts, I get pictures. Now and again, when a cousin or a relative visits from out of town, I don't find out that they're coming. I find out that they've been, and I get a nice smiling posed photograph. What a wonderful time they were having. Cousins I haven't seen in 30 years, things like that. I'm not upset about it because, you know, people drift, families drift, I get that. But I would always, most of the people I choose to associate with would let their siblings know if someone they hadn't seen in the family for a real long time were coming, so that you might arrange to visit. I haven't complained about the texts. Let me get this traffic by. Well, this will be an edit for sure. I don't want to get hit with a copyright off of that car's loud music. Probably not very wise for me to be making a voice recording while walking down this main road in town. It is what it is. But anyway, the last time that I was sent pictures of visiting cousins that I hadn't seen in a long time, my mother's baby sisters, a couple of her boys. Oh, here's the honorarium to cocaine abuse right here at the museum. It's interesting. This is an aside. I'm walking toward what used to be the tallest building in Rockingham County, and they used to call it the Central Hotel. But when old Leakesville turned into Uptown, because, everybody wants to be high. They call it Uptown. A lot of old folks don't like that, neither do I. I think it's stupid and obvious. But anyways, hey, here's a nice bench. I'm going to sit on it. Anyways, the last time that I was sent pictures of some family members that had come in from out of state to visit Mama at hospice, I wrote back and I said, I appreciate the pictures, but I would have really appreciated knowing they were coming. It would have been nice to see them. And what I got back, another reason I don't like texts is because when an angry person texts, you can tell. And what I got was a long scolding about how I have failed in the reciprocal relationship building that leads to relatives wanting to be around each other, and as such, I'm not entitled to know when they're coming from out of town because someone else has arranged the visit. It was extremely stupid, selfish, and malignant narcissism. But I don't think that narcissists know how utterly destructive and selfish and stupid they are. They just don't know. And that persists. Things got so ugly. I got real tired of these getting clobbered with my reactions to having been provoked to anger by someone else. I've been getting a lot of texts that over the last year or so that suggest that I'm neglectful, that I don't love my parents, that I don't appreciate all of the hard work and commitment to their care. This individual who doesn't want me around, it seems so willing to shoulder with selfishness like that. I think I can cross the road right now. Let's find out. All good, beautiful, excellent. And as I was saying, there are people that never discard another person's text because there's going to come a time when they can whip it out and beat you with it. And I've been enduring a whole bunch of those beatings, but every time it happens, somehow or another, the text that should be right around the top of the one that I'm being clobbered with that caused that never seems to get remembered or mentioned. And I've got a pretty good memory. I don't know if it's an eidetic memory. I don't have a photographic memory for things to see, but at any rate, I remember these instances where I was insulted into a point of anger, or gaslit into a point of anger, or something was projected at me as though it was my problem when the person was just simply revealing the thing about themselves that they can't seem to get past and putting it on other people, projecting. And this brings us back to 1Corinthians13, because love, this thing that I'm being accused of having so little evidence of, is in 1Corinthians13. It doesn't hold on to wrongs. It doesn't hold on to wrongs, which would mean, in practice, you got a professing Christian, you got a practicing Christian. Professing Christians say, I love Jesus. Practicing Christians say, I fear God. There's a big difference. If love does not hold on to wrongs, what does that tell us we should do with text messages that get us upset? And the Bible also says that a dog will return to its own vomit and eat it, and that we shouldn't toss pearls to pigs because they'll eat the pearls and then they'll attack us. course, the pearls or kindnesses extended to pigs. They'll accept those kindnesses, they'll eat them up, but before you know it, they're turning on you again. As though that kindness was never, ever offered. And you're just this unloving, hateful person that isn't meeting their standards. You're not saying thank you enough. You're not showing up enough. You're not communicating enough. This is coming from someone that has told me I will not talk to you on the telephone. You kind of get how this is weird gravy, because these wrongs get held onto. That's not love. There's this idiom, better out than in. I use it all the time. When I say better out than in, sometimes I'm talking about the toilet. The kind of things we get rid of ought to be gotten rid of. So I've gotten in the habit of getting rid of texts from people that bug me. And I've also begun, and I'm a real baby at this right now, a real student. I'm on the milk, you might say, not to the meat. But I am beginning to learn that the best defense, when somebody is whipping out your words in a way that they were not communicated in the first place, turning them into a weapon, and then beating the hell out of you with it every chance they get with texts. It's kind of like being poked with an ice pick or an auger. They want to put a hole in you. They want to leave a mark. And the best thing to do is not respond. And if it persists, maybe the best thing to do is go gray rock, where you don't engage so much, unless things really matter. And if that doesn't work and makes them even angrier, because they're not getting the energy they desire from you, well, it might be time to go no contact. And you'll find a whole lot of people that talk about dealing with narcissists can be pretty fruitless as long as you keep expected fruit, and that disengaging is a better way to handle it. You have to take away the dopamine hits they get, getting you upset. It seems to me that one of the ways that we can best remain unpolluted by upsets that we probably ought to be over by now, if we're grown-ups, if we're capable of forgiveness for small things that happen, oops things, and we remember that something that we perceive as a wrong from the past may very well be something that we caused. And that brings us back to the unction that we be humble. Being humble can be a real tough road to walk. Hot, dusty, lonely. Sometimes there's stuff that you trip over because you're not paying attention. You walk along, out of sight, out of mind, all out of triggering texts from the past. Delete them. I don't even know whether they actually disappear for the other person when I delete my stuff or not. It doesn't matter. I'm the one that would be choosing to look at that again. So I'm the only one that is in control of whether I see it. And the best way to never see it again, delete it, move on. Dust off your feet, realize that this ministry has ended. You're in the multitude, the pool, and everybody's drowning. Go find the ladder.